Hey there, it's Senna. I'm back with another card, and this one is it's fun. Of course, all cards are fun, but this one I just love the stamp set from Heffy Doodles with the Snappy Crocs. They're hilarious to look at. So I'm gonna make this Croc run towards the recipient with whatever you need for your birthday, or to cheer someone up for that matter. That'd be wine and cake. Or in my house it would be Coca-Cola and cake, but it wasn't on the stamp set, unfortunately. So I'm gonna do some masking. I'm first gonna stamp some masks. I made multiples just in case, and I had trouble getting them on this smaller piece. I cut the pattern too, so I cut off the part that wasn't sticky and split the paper in two to make it easier. Now, since these are new, I just rubbed them with my stamp shammy before I put on the ink, and then I stamped them. And then I cut out the mess so that the ink would have time to dry. I know it's hybrid ink, and it goes quite fast, but I wanted to make sure that that it didn't stick anywhere. And then I'm gonna stamp the plate for which the cake goes on top, and then make a mask for that one, so that the Croc's hand will go under the plate. If you've done this kind of stamping yourself, you know that the thing that is in the most foreground has to be stamped first, and then you cover it up so that everything else goes underneath it. So here's my Croc with his wine and cake. And then I put back the masks, all of them. I made 3 or 4 for each of these items, so I don't have to cut them again soon. And as you see, the cake is on the plate in the hand of the Croc. I just there's a bit of a thinner line than I would like, so I'm just repainting it with the Copic multiliner. And here are my pattern papers. Don't mind the mess. I spent like half an hour trying to figure out what to put in the background of my crocodile. So I ended up with this MFT trail mix paper. I was going for a masculine card because those are troublesome. I don't have that many. I picked a colored base for my card, but it was actually not quite A6 size, so I just trimmed off so that it fit. And I decided, I found this paper in my scrap box, and I don't know where the stamp is from, and I don't know what the paper is, so excuse me, this is just random paper with a bit of details on. So I wanted the green was very green on the card, so I needed to break it up a bit, so that's why I cut this panel from the excess of the circle, and since I was covering up, it didn't matter that there was missing a piece. And here's the crocodile, and I am using my Shin hands to color it. I am still struggling with my collection, trying to find the right colors to invest in. I bought the A set of 16 markers, 60 markers. It was 60, wasn't it? I think it was. I bought a few singular ones, and I need to buy more of those. But there's a B set, and I'm avoiding buying those in singles, because at one point when I have the money, I'm gonna buy it, and then I would have doubles, and that's no fun. So, but I make it work. I have these 2 in this yellow greenish color that I thought was perfect for my crocodile. So only 2 markers, but I made it work, even though you normally use 3. Very simple shading, since I am not a coloring expert yet. And then a little bit of dot detail, just to make it more interesting. and darken up his belly mostly. Not so much his is it called a snout? Jars maybe? I don't know. Well, so 2 colors for the crocodile, and 2 colors for the wine bottle. It's very small, so it didn't matter that I only had 2. Making a tiny bit of a highlight there on the side, as you see. It disappears a bit on the video now, but it's visible in real life. And yellowing up the label of the bottle and making a shadow on his teeth, just little details. Coloring in the strawberry. I did have room for 2 markers here. I was impressed that I didn't color outside the lines here. And with the jam in this cake too. I made it chocolate cake. Since I haven't found the right combination of Shin markers to make vanilla sponge yet, but I will, trust me. And here is the plate. I made it quite gray, like a stainless steel kind of thing. And there was a spot on my paper, it didn't want to color, and I don't know what I did to it. I truly don't. Bit of shading under the strawberry for the glaze. It's gonna get some glossy accents later, so. And blending out the shadow on the teeth. And that be it. And I'm, like always, going to go all the way up to the black line when I cut out, so that's why I'm using my craft knife here, around all the little scales or whatever they're called on his back. Took some time, but it was worth it. And I'm cutting out this part first, because if I had cut the arm and the bottle before I did the inside with the knife, I might actually ruin the paper when I was pulling on it. I also have to be careful around his arm. That's why that's the very last thing I cut out, around his, between his head and the cake, and cutting out the arm. I forgot the cork on the wine bottle. I'm just dabbing it in here. So very slightly. So this is gonna take some time, but well, it's all a matter of perfect. I cut out, by the way, the worst parts of my head getting in the way. These were so tiny cuts, I had to get all the way in there to make sure I didn't cut something I shouldn't. And to make sure I got all the way through the paper, I turn it around and try to cut it from that angle too, where I can actually see where there's not yet a hole in the paper. And then I try scissors for the cake, but the strawberry is just too small, so back to the knife. I don't mind the knife. That was how I got into crafting when I was a kid. It was very in to make these silhouettes where you used a knife. And I started up again. What? Is it 10 years? It can't be yet. 8, maybe. 8 years ago. Started making Christmas cards again. And I have been ever since. Every single year. So, but this stamping, coloring thing, it's within the last 2 years for me. I never thought I could do it, but now I've watched so many videos. I am ready to try it out for real. I started out with the Sick Clean Color Real markers. Real brush markers. Oh, that's such a long name. And since it was doable, I learned to use them. I love them still. I just have issues that they are not... the pinks don't last in sharp sunlight. They die. They just disappear. And I want the people I send my cards to be able to put their cards up and look at them and not have them go dull. That's the worst thing. So here you see the small details with the knife. I'm just doing it the very last minute. I'm being very careful not to to break his hand. Since I want him on an action wobble, he needs to be in one piece. But anyway, I am trying my hands at alcohol markers. So, and you may ask yourself why I didn't pick Copics, and the answer is price. The Shin hands are cheaper and they're also refillable, and you can replace the nibs. I just have to master the color coding on them because it doesn't make sense to me yet. I have written them on Facebook. I'm wondering if they'll ever get back to me, but hopefully they will. So now just tidying up my little crocodile, and that also takes some time because of all the little scales on his back. Getting that pin into every little hole and being sure to do it from the back side, so if I slip, I don't draw all over my crocodile. Here I'm preparing for my sentiment. I just found my acetate piece for the mini MISTI. It was laying around trying to get lost. And I'm gonna stamp Snappy Day, which is the big font, and then the tiny font will say, hope you have a. So it's just gonna be black to keep it simple. And that little rag there is a dried up baby wipe that I use to press on my stamp. I don't wear long sleeves, so I can't do that. I'm utilizing both sides of my MISTI for the stamping, so if I get it wrong, it's easier to do it again. But it worked out quite nice. I'm just gonna etch this to make it stand out a bit more from the background. And here he is. I'm trying to figure out where to put the circle to make it look like it fits with the pattern, and it doesn't work anyway, so I end up moving it. It was worth a try. Just it got too bare at the bottom, so I had to move it down. And I etched the circle too, just to define it a little bit. And liquid glue is always good for putting on panels. Then you have a little bit of wiggle room if you get it crooked. And I'm loving these dies I got, which match the A6 card. Now I get an equal border all around. It's easier to get it straight that way. So a bit of foam tape on the pattern paper here, making sure that no one can see there's a hole in the middle, even if they try to peek in from the bottom, like anyone would. But then again, if they did, I've made sure there's nothing to see. Getting that one straight. And then the circle. I don't want to pop this one up because the crocodile's gonna be popped up anyway, so. But I pop up the sentiment, put it at an angle in the corner for some fun. I didn't put any embellishments on this card. I wanted to keep it simple, because with the action wobbler it's gonna be interesting no matter. And I am gonna use glossy accents on the bottle and the glazing and the jam on the cake. I just didn't film it, I forgot to. But it is on the pictures. It is there on the pictures. So here he is, my happy crocodile, all ready to go out and party. And I hope you enjoyed this and you'll return for more videos from me. And until then, have a crafty day.